Bueno, pues en primer lugar, buenos días a todos. Antes de empezar la charla, queríamos dos ideas previas antes de empezar. Lo primero, a la organización, darles la enhorabuena por este estupendísimo congreso que nos gusta tanto. Las felicidades por los 5 años, que cumpláis muchos más. Sabéis que para nosotros es un privilegio poder estar aquí, ya lo sabéis, entonces, bueno, eso que vaya por delante. La segunda idea previa a la charla, que no tiene nada que ver, es que, bueno, en la inauguración de la RUTED, pues nos enteramos de que va a haber una RUTED en Valencia. Como sabéis, como muchos sabéis, mi compañero David Pérez es de Valencia, yo, José Pico, soy de Valencia, nuestra empresa que hemos fundado pues está en Valencia también, así que pues esto lo hemos acogido con una ilusión muy grande. Y lo queremos celebrar con vosotros, pues como se celebran las cosas en Valencia. Vale, pues ya dicho esto, ya podemos empezar la charla. Como sabéis, en 2G el protocolo tenía una serie de vulnerabilidades que permitían realizar un ataque con estación base falsa. Esto es ampliamente conocido. En ese ataque lo que se podía hacer, entre otras cosas, utilizando ese ataque, pues hacer cosas como el IMSI.
Yo writes with a device, I know whether a user is not on the coverage area of my false base. Or for instance, as it was proven last year at the routing, I could geolocalize in an accurate manner in a radius of 2 kilometers any device that I am looking for. Or I could also deny the service to a given device. I could do that selectively. There are several techniques to do that. It also on 2G allows you to intercept communications and to manipulate them. So, for instance, I could record conversations, I could fake the number. So these are part of the vulnerabilities that has been proven over this time for 2G.
What is going on here? Since we have been working in this job, we have received several news regarding the URLs, and we can see that this can be done in 3G. So this news was very, very interesting regarding how to proceed. This is one of the motivating factors. On the other side, there are some researchers and investigators, and there's slightly serious, so-called prestigious researchers telling, okay, you can do it in 3G, but we want to report this situation because it's absolutely intolerable. Excuse me, can you please use the microphone, the room microphone, for the interpreter to understand and to listen to the question? Sorry, we cannot hear the question of the interpreter in English, but because there is no room microphone. Okay, this is. We can't stand it. We hope these investigators never go through the same mistake. What attacks from 2G can be done also in 3G? We cannot intercept the communication nor manipulate in them. I cannot see the point, but we can do easy catching, devices, geolocalizations, denial services, and downgrades selective to 2G. Many leaflets said I can do select downgrade to G. My mobile device can get this. Since in 3G communications cannot be intercepted, if I force your device to access your device, I'm perpetrating 2G over a 3G system. Our objective in today's talk is to tell about this issue. In our leaflets, they said, with our super secret technology, let's create a select downgrade to 2G. The moment we started investigating, okay, super secret, We haven't invented anything anymore. Devices they are doing this. Okay, it's not invented by us, but okie dokie, it hasn't been launched before. There's super secret technology. What does it mean? But this is patented. You go to the patent, and what you're telling at the patents, this is public. It's not hidden. This technology is patented. As a start, super secret technology. What is the concept underneath? The concept on which this is based upon is absolutely extremely simple concept. It is, to put it, it's really bullshit. This concept is really bullshit. These attacks performed on 3G. This concept is super simple. That's why we're going to tell that this talk is going to have two parts. The very first part, in which we'll tell the theoretical part, why are these attacks possible, and then we'll break through all the attacks. And finally, we don't want to stay here. We couldn't be able to prove it, but we have started a job to leave and move these theoretical attacks onto a real scenario. That will be the second part of our job. Without further ado, let's move on to the background, the theoretical background. How do this attack work? Very short theory before we proceed. On 3G, it's very different. 3G has a lot of security. And that's why these so-called little researchers thought that this couldn't be done in 3G. But 3G said, the rule said that the messages have to be protected in integrity. They have to be digitally signed. Some attacker with a fake satellite, a special satellite, cannot be signed. This is the establishment of this integrity protection happens at a certain moment stipulated, which is the security mode command. We'll go back to this point later on. Communications are also protected through and by algorithms, cryptography. 3G cryptography, unlike 2G, is 3G cryptography, at least publicly speaking, is not now broken. So this cryptography is not at the moment broken. It's still protecting us. But if this cryptography is still protecting us, is it possible for the hackers to attack? Cryptography is protecting us from this. Here the key concept, this simple concept, is that messages have to be protected. But let's read it carefully. All messages protected, because if there's one single message not protected in integrity, I can send it over. It can be useless. It can be used for me in certain respects. This is the dialogue, the approximate dialogue established when a mobile makes a request of service from a network. On the left, the mobile; in the middle, the base station. The network, it asks for a radio channel is given by the station. Through this established channel makes the format request at level 3. Hello, I want to be receiving a coverage, and the network has the faculty to identify this user if he's now known. But it's always the network if it proceeds to identify and authenticate the user. The red can authenticate the user. The network will demand the user to prove you have the case to be stored in the SIM card. Once authentication establishment of key are done, the integrity turns on and appears on screen. So it means that all communications will be protected in an integral way. And throughout this diagram, you can see that cryptography starts being protected down at the bottom. In the meantime, many things happen. By doing zoom here, when the mobile asks for a radio channel, it needed to make the request of service to the network. At this moment, the stage, the user is not identified. Any any device can be assigned a radio channel. Once assigned, let's move on to the next steps once the network has considered opportunity. Is it clear for now?
De todo.
This is the key issue. This is the basis, the fundamentals of my explanations. What is it going if this whole scenario, when I'm asking for a radio channel, what happens if it's rejected by the radio station, by the network? I don't have any radio station. Here's no authentication. I'm only requesting a radio channel to speak with the network, but network can say, okay, I don't have the available radio channel, so connection rejected. So regarding radio resources, but I do know who has this channel. I can give you another 3G frequency or something, which is into rating 4. There are a 2G cell with the service for you. I will give you some info that can be useful for an attacker, and it can also be useful for a fake radio station impersonating an operator.
Norma no se protegen en integridad, ¿no? Como os ha contado David antes, pues los mensajes de
the regulations, these messages are not protected, as you can see on the screen. What happened with high level, level 3 messages have the radio channel? I'm making a request procedure. As you can see, there are some exceptions depending on the situation, and accordingly to these regulations of the network, this can be protected in an integrate way or not. So identity request, who are you, and location updating reject, which means I'm not giving you service by telling you why I'm not giving. Your MC is not valid, so I'm not giving you service for this reason. Because the location rejection is allowed not to be totally protected. Let's move on to the next subject. I have the theoretical fundamentals. What should we need to proceed this way? We will need a radio equipment good enough for this purpose. It's very accessible in the market. We should use a modem. Software modem is also necessary for this purpose. It could not be a software, but we could access the baseband, the basis functions of in the modem. We want to control and we want to create the radio channels and the simulation of all the parts of the protocol intervene in the procedure, in the establishment of the radio connection. For this talk is like this, but we'll revisit this this later on. But just imagine for this current talk that all this exists at the moment, and let's simulate attack by attack how it is working by the tenets, by admitting that this is like this is now existing. Now let's simulate the 4 attacks. The very first 3 ones proved in 2G can be done with a fake station, and the 4th one, which is specific for 3G. Move on to this area, the front cell, and I'm still okay. Let's break through the different attacks based upon the very same principle we have proved. The IMSI, IMEI catching, the attacker has a fake base station in their coverage area. The attacker is interested in recollecting all the IMSIs of mobile devices that are surrounding them. The attacker only create a fake radio station, as in 2G mobiles detected it, and they made service requests because it has strong signaling, and the network rejected it for them not to understand it. So mobiles requested coverage from normal networks, and the attacker has the IMSIs. This can be done as well in 3G because the RRC connection established. I can create a so-called fake 3G radio station. The mobile, by using this radio channel, is going to try to request my service. What happens? I'm gonna tell him, okay, before deciding I'm giving you service or not, because I may be the network. You're gonna tell me who you are with the same identity request we could do in 2G. He is obliged to answer back me. He's going to give me his IMSI, and I got it. And I do a reject. No worries. I'm not gonna give you service, but the rest of them they're going to give you service, and all the mobile phone numbers are going to go through this process and get all the IMSI catching, which is easily done on 3G because cryptography is not applicable at this very first phase. Any questions? Until now, it's very simple. Second attack is geolocation of devices. Here, the attacker tries to know the exact location of a concrete device who like to be the victim. Last year, with this 2G geolocation system, you knew the area in which the victim is targetable. You embark the system on a car, driving around the area with a fake radio station. This is the fake radio station with the coverage, but if he picks up the mobile in which we are interested, making the request, at this mobile we accepted the registering. We established a silent phone for him to continuously sending over all his data without showing anything on screen. With this traffic, every time that a streak of information got us, we took measures to triangle the coordinates and calculate his geolocalization. Now in 3G, we cannot do this. When the service is requested, we can accept the service and giving service, because the last accept is protected with cryptography.
Ahí tenemos un problema.
Here, so we do really truly need to accept the this registry. We don't think so. Why do you? Because before registering, many things have happened on the radio channel. We have answered back if this person is using this channel, and which is used by him by sending his request. I want complete service, which is one is beating around the bushes. I got a request, but I'm answering back with a transmission failure. He has some timers to retry once and for all, and I'm not going to be able to perform the whole registry. In the meantime, many rushes and many streaks have been sent to me to triangle his position in the right location. Did you get it? Without accepting the registration, we can also accept messages to locate the device. Let's be cautious here and not like the little bad researchers. This is feasible and possible, even though we haven't proved it with our own hands. The next attackers is a 3G denial of service. I put my radio station working, or the Greenpeace, the targets. I told them, okay, your IMSIs are not valid. So in the demo there was a missing phone number. They told us, okay, I'm not valid, so I'm not doing anything else. So they ran out of service. They notified only the fact that they are out of coverage. I turn off my attack, and this continues to be without service until the user reboot the whole service. This is attack of denial of service is also possible in 3G, because this is not protected. The initial part of a request for restrictions is not also protected. There's one of the few exceptions allowed and permitted. The last attack I want to mention, where it's possible without having tested it, is the super famous selected downgrade to 2G. Here we propose two ways to carry out. there is a third one, but this is a nasty and lurid one, and the two first ones are best. The very first one, if you are asking me for a radio channel and have the possibility, but the other one, you can do so in that very time. I'm forcing you in a selective way. In this very case, it's not selective. I'm forcing you to go to 2G. In case you're using the 3G level message, I have a 3G fake radio channel. This fake radio station set up with the same location area with the real one, which is in this area, and the rejection code is location area not permitted. In this location area, you cannot be registered. So the mobile started looking for legitimate base stations, and it looks for new ones in different places. If I have a 2G radio station giving service by impersonating the very same provider, the mobile is going to find the station. There are two ways to perform it. Select downgrade to 2G. There may be another one, and perhaps there are many more other. So by reaching this point, with the exception that is not still totally proved, let's move on to the slide where everything is supposed to be done. From everything that is supposed to be done, what is really done and it's not really done. Hardware is now existing. High range version releases can be valid. The hardware used by us, requirements with bandwidth enough for us, and time and precision of watch, which is adequate. Frequency is not a multiple of 384. Can be done sampling of software. It's not hardware is now on the market. The parts of the protocol in which are interested, some can be done, others can be rewritten. So this is our blocking problem, and we want to put it into practice. The blocking problem is this: we don't have access to a 3G bandwidth, and there's nothing published at the moment. And at this very point, we want to perform the attacks we had mentioned before. Let's move on to the next stage. At this stage, we don't have it. Is it okay? We were studying all these attackers. This can be done in 3G. This is not feasible. It's private or not. So we perform the checklists about what is available or not, and we got down at that moment. We fell down. There are many obstacles to confront in life. The most suitable for us is this one, and there we go. We got it this way.
No tenemos un móvil 3G, digo un modem 3G.
Have a 3G modem freely developed. So let's create one. So there we go. We wrap up our slips on our shoulders and created a 3G software modem to perform everything freely. The very first part is to take a card allowing us to capture signal at the time frequency in the width band correct to us. And we use this kind of mechanisms on the internet, set cards with two transmitters and two receivers on the same card, which can allow us to have the right sampling, and is connected through 3 gig ether to the PC. And you need the driver, an open driver, a free source open driver with the specified version for this card, but it's now available for this UMTRX card, which allows you to do sampling of the signaling.
El siguiente paso es
Next stage is to capture the signal, to take sampling of what is going on in the air in the right frequency, and we get radio base station, and you can get the digital representation of this analogical signaling in the air for us to contact the card, we know 3G much better. Let's capture 3G for us to assure that everything is okay. When you are sampling a 3G radio station, when you put it in a graphic way, you expect to have a circumference of radio 1. And because in 2G information is transmitted in a very summary way to orthogonal signaling in the air, you're capturing these two signals, which are the coordinates in the traditional way of representing it graphically. These two values merge at every moment in the plane WQ. So every sample gotten in the component of one axis and the component of the other axis, you're gonna get this image. What you are expecting to see represented at these points, every symbol in this circle should be at a concrete point at every moment. But if transmitter wants to transmit a 1, next instant this point has turned over and is in the 180 degrees in the hour sense. So at every sample is moving back forward and moved forward all the time. This is what we knew, and when we check the chart, unlike we have a depressed moment, now we are getting happy because even though there is this noise, we are expecting the right signaling, clockwise and anti-clockwise respectively. So you can, if you glare through it, you can even see the beeps working it. By looking and glaring at this signaling, we were thinking of, okay, vibrating orgasmic things.
Luego nos dijimos, bueno, ya que tenemos...
Since we have the 2G signaling capture, let's capture 3G signaling. Let's get the phone in monitor mode and within the right spectrum. Let's show it, and you almost expect the same because signs are within the circumference. When you capture a 3G signal, is this what you are expecting? No matter how you start looking at it, you don't see zeros or ones. You can see a wrapped paper. So let's move on to the 3G signaling. It was unbelievable for us in the very beginning, but it's like this. So you have to first perform a resampling because this signal was captured at with a multiple of 3.84 mega. We need a sample signaling to a multiple. Sorry, here we go. Of 3.84 megasamples per second. Once the resample is done, next step, you need to synchronize because you are obtaining a full range of numbers, which are the samples from the signal, and you need to know where things started. So in UMS, the plotter is like this, and then the time slot, you need to know where this is starting. First, align the time slot. UME, you have the primary synchronization channel identification set that introduced in the signal, and you get a synchronization where the time slots begin just right at this sample.
Vale, una vez tenemos claro dónde empiezan y acaban los símbolos.
Once these symbols start, next step is primary synchronization channel for this purpose. Now we're going to move to the second synchronization channel to identify the group to which the primary scrambling code belongs. And scrambling code is a process where radio station emits. It is a random manipulation to discriminate what is emitting this station from the others. There are many types of codes. Instead of checking all the codes, they were grouped up and split up in several groups. You have 8 possible groups, and the secondary synchronization channel identifies what group this radio station belongs the code. So you are checking one of these 84 is detectable. Once is detected, they tell you, okay, there you go, this is where the scrambling code belongs to, and tells you which one of the time slot determines that the beginning and the end of the plotter. So that's arbitrarily determined. This is a plotter number 1, and with the synchronization channel you obtain these 2 purposes. Furthermore, you need the concrete scrambling code used to extract the signal from that radio base station. The group, inside every group there are 8 possibilities, and we have to check them, every one of them, for us to know what of them are using this radio station. Once the radio station code is identified, out of these 8, we can reverse and inverse the pseudo random manipulation, and we extract from all these Maya-Magnon and pandemonium of signals the one signal transmitted for our radio station, because on the same frequency other radio base stations can be signaling with a different code. With this, we extract what is coming from this particular radio base station. Once this particular radio base station signal is extracted, you have the bits. You only have chips, and for us to get from the chips to the bips, you need to perform the inverse process. You go to the regulation. What has been done on regulation and transmission? You check the regulations. The column on the left, you can see the bips, and the emitter performs some processes, continues, and at the bottom it has chips that can be sent in the air. This is done by the transmitter. We have to reverse the process. We have to do just the opposite. We are now here at the bottom. We have our chips, and we have to program ourselves as much as possible for us to undo the physical channel, the second interreading, and they shuffle the bits to be transmitted, and the segmentation of physical channels, separate them, the logical ones of transport from the others depending on the channel you are using. You need to time them up, data from different cells, then the shuffling again, and you need to adjust speeds of transmission to which bits are coming is on the same of the one is coming in the air, and you need to manipulate. Then you decode convolutionally, speaking of what you have, and you obtain at the very end the bips. These bips can be passed on to the next higher level. This is level 2, so let's move on to level 1, and that's where they can be used. Bits can be used at this very high level.
Todo eso lo vamos a mostrar.
Now the demo of what I have just said. The only part we are going to be able to show live is the capture part. The starting point for us to perform the demo will be a file obtained by capturing sampling a signal at this frequency with this widthband. Show me all the samplings and load them in a file. This is the capture point data is the file you can see now on screen. It has 16 million subsampling. Tip type float. We need first to draw this file with this executable. Let's execute with the entry file is capture point data, and then exit file is capture point data point resample. The in rate is And rate is the rate to which we captures the files, and we want this file as effective capture by using a sample per symbol. We resample it at the right frequency of chips of UMTs, which is around 84 megasamples per second. This process amplifies the signal and constructs an exit sample like this, and luckily we'll finish this way. The exit is the capture now resample, and the text version to be shown with plot. This is a little script calling the plot to GNO plot, and let's show the 20,000 very first sampling. Sampling does not affect the signaling, it only aligns the points of sampling for you not to lose the points. From this resample signaling, we are going to invoke. Let's first execute the command, because it takes some time.
Perdón.
Capture data resample. It reads the files inserted in the structures, which is a step, is the first part of the first steps. The part of the synchronization is done by this executable. The very first thing is to read the file, put it in the structures to be analyzed with in a more complete way. And the part you can see in the IMSI identifies or try to identify the time slot alignment with the primary synchronization channel. Once the time slot is found, time slot alignment says, okay, it's here. The first one is, in this case, the very first time slot is in the sample 2008. If it were to be in a higher sample, we wouldn't find the right one. In this case, the 2008 sample, go to the second synchronization channel. Now the plotting alignment, let's find the scrambling group, which allows us to scramble the signal. It goes through all the scramble groups until identify the right one. If you can see it takes a long time. This is what our mobile devices do when they log on to the 3G coverage, because it has all the optimizations from the compilator. If your processor supports these 3G optimizations on 3G, the code perhaps can be Google. We have been constructed this by the trial and error method. You read the regulations, but sometimes regulations are ambiguous or a lie themselves. When constructing and building the whole system up, we have been checking and testing. We can find many things in the code that are working, others are not working at the moment. This code performs all the testing, but we have still a lot of margin of improvement. There's room for improvement. When it reaches 63, all the scramble groups have been tested, and you will have decided what is the right scrambling group to be used here. And let's move on to the scrambling code, to scrambling the signal, and to transform the signal to discriminate it from noise and other signals and know where the chips are. So now it only has to check 7 scrambling codes from 1 to 8. Once finished, it says this sample has this scramble. The first one frame is here, and the number you can see on the screen, and the scrambling code is 3 from group 33. It's a real signal, by the way. is not on purpose. It's a real signal. It's group 33 because it's like this, as such. With this, I can scrambling the signal, and I move on to an exit file with the chips sending over by this radio base station, which is the one you can say this file. We add the scramble extension to move on to the next processing series upstairs. Once the de-scrambling has been performed with the chips emitted by the radio station, I need the rest of the transformations to reach to the bit. We're moving from the chips to the bits now. This is called de-scrambling. Now let's listen to this guy on the interface Lupa on port UDP 47, which is the one assigned by IANA to GMSEPAP, which is used to encapsulate all the things coming from 3G. It's defined this way. And let's move back to this terminal, to our terminal. Let's lower up here. And now we're going to launch this receive program and tell them that entry file is file capture data resample point scramble, and now it takes this the file where the chits are, and now it will reverse the process to extract the beeps. Now it's extracting the bips. If everything works fine, we'll see bips obtained from every plot, from every crossing point. Attention, stress now, but now we got it. Let's scroll up. Let's scroll up. Now we're scrolling up. It had been processed the plots by Perez, because the channel we tried to listen is BCH, which is broadcast. Since this is segmented, it's split in two plots. So the reception process, you need to take two consecutive plots and reconstruct what you have been sent over. This is the convolutional decoder exit, the bips here. The program tries, it has a sequence of bits encapsulated in UDP and send it to Shark. Let's see if it can capture them the focus. Here, Macasa protocol, it says that RDC. Let's scroll up, because the superior level after level 1 is the level of radio control RDC. If we move on to the very first part, we see that all the plots have the meta added by us, and then it counts what is on the plot. It detects that it's a broadcast message and can decode this field. This is the system frame number, which is the consecutive number of plot. Let's click now in the next ones, and we'll see that it's consecutive. If we take one of them, perhaps the first, it knows how to decode that is it's a complete thing, and inside it has a mastering information block, and here the dissector of Shark reaches its object. This is master information block, and these are the bits inside, which I don't know how to decode now. We didn't have time to implement the dissector from Shark, but let's use this tool from what I'm going to show you now on screen. And now we did the cut and paste of these bees in hexadecimal system, then binary, and for us to interpret the series of bits, you need to move to the rule and find out the definition of these blocks. And we look for the identification MCC, MNSC, identifying the network, which here are 214 Spain and 01 Vodafone is a radio station from Vodafone, from which we capturing the whole thing, and from which we obtain the whole bits. At this very point, we stop it. And we intend to move this topic to a proof of concept basic. We wanted to access to the width bound of a modem. It's almost solved, and we stopped there. That's why we couldn't prove any further attacks I will present to you, and that's it. Period.
En conclusión, resumiendo un poquito lo que hemos...
Final remarks. Our conclusions, to sum up what we have told you, is that these attacks, we thought that they were feasible in 2G and not possible in 3G. We proved that they are also possible in 3G. 3G are possible as well. We can do that as selected downgrade to G. We believe we haven't proved it yet. We haven't implemented yet. But now we have the modem when we can crack the whole base band. But we are reasonably convinced that this is feasible. We have contracted these little tiny researchers who said bad things, unprovable, and we of course affirm that this is feasible. Now, attacks are possible in 3G by using the technique of radio station. So, should you want to obtain more information, you can get this book. This book will be released again in their latest version. It's been delayed because of our fall, not for the company. So our book will be available for you to check it, and if you should have any questions or suggestions, we'll kindly accept them. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hola, aquí en el centro.
Question just in the middle. Muy bien, man. The easy catching phase, is there any condition if one mobile tries to connect with all the radio base stations surrounding them, negotiate with one of them, there is some limitations. These mobile devices connects to the best one. It can always be captured, and IMSI can always be captured, but depends on certain conditions. The response is, of course, you can do so always, but you are gonna have to do it in a very careful way if you want to achieve it. But you can do so. A mobile with the service of a real base station is not monitoring all the possible reasons, because it would take and consume a lot of battery, and the regulations say that the servicing radio station, one of these existing information and service blocks, is the list of neighbor cells. The mobile will monitor these frequencies from these declared neighboring cells, in which is gonna check all these neighboring cells for it to know if it's a better signal coming from the cells. If you want success, first you need to analyze what are the neighboring cells and put it like being one of these neighboring cells. Second question. This process tends to be very slow. Do you think that you can develop a tool enoughly reliable and powerful to do it in real time? Or it requires hardware? It doesn't require hardware. It's very slow because, like I said, is not optimized for anything. We have a lot of room for improvement. How much we only need 20 milliseconds to be done, because it's the time in the next plot. So we can do it in the next step. We can do it with a real PC in real time.
Aquí arriba, al fondo del todo.
Question: what is your rich radius with the QM plugs to overlap just where the cells of operators come in from surroundings? As I saw, we use the card only for reception. We listen to what the real station was sending us, and it has been implemented. If you are gonna try to recreate this text, we have to meet and pretend to be a real radio station. How much coverage we do have with this card? We haven't checked it. We really don't know what the reach and the coverage of our plug and card would be. But if you want to get more coverage, let's get it broader. If you need a little coverage around the device, you perhaps with no amplification you can get it, but it will be likely some little meters only. We haven't measured these meters, don't have the right data. If you need a wider device coverage, we can use the geolocation system. The car we have 3 kilometers of coverage around us. You need to add reception and amplifier and to combine signaling. In Spain, it is not legal. You break the law here in Spain. You need to move to a different country. David, please, you have the floor. One simple question: when you are going to authenticate the terminal, the mobile, the identity request performed according to your statement is obliged to respond to the terminal. It's a command sent by the network to the terminal. The identity request is a message sent from the network to the terminal. Is that the network will decide to send it or not. When received, you have to respond. These are IMSI fields, or you can get more information from the terminal. You can ask him for the IMSI capacities, what type of encryption they support. They are the only 3 things you can ask them. It would be fine to ask them who is your owner or some additional information. There are no more questions, so thank you very much for your attention and your assistance. Thank you.